Go ahead and open the Board of Works meeting. If you could please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Do our roll call.
Mayor Bonta,
Here.
Member Newell,
Here.
Member Lewis, Member Farkas, Member Maleta.
Here.
So let's see, did you guys have a chance to look at the minutes, and do we have a motion to approve or any corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
New business, we have 2719 Stephanie Court appeal / refund. Someone here from Stephanie Court, would you like to come up? And what is being appealed? Hello?
Hi. Yeah,
Feel free to, yeah.
yeah. So I'm again, I'm not trying to get something for nothing, but I'm just curious. After 20 years of living there, all of a sudden they can't come the extra half block to pick up the trash, and they're literally having to stop at the end of a one-lane road and now back out to get out of the area. Plus, they are coming halfway down the private drive, but they won't come all the way down the private drive, which is sort of confusing to me. I mean, to me, you should either be all in or all out. If you're going to cut off private drives, then cut off, by all means, cut off private drives, but don't cut them off halfway, and don't cut only the ones that you select to cut off within the town.
Yeah, and I can ask Randy to come up, because the issue is, it's not a matter of choosing to go up only halfway. It actually, I believe, Randy, if I'm correct, it has to do with your ability to turn around. Is that right?
Yeah, the way
Go ahead.
the way Elizabeth Lane is, it comes down and then it ends, and it's very feasible for us to come down and back down to that one particular area. I've communicated this with those residents that are landlocked on Stephanie Court, and the issue with Stephanie Court is technically not a given road over to the city of Portage. Neither is Elizabeth Lane in that one section that he's referring to, and we're willing to compromise if we can, but that private drive that they call Stephanie Court is really, really bad. I have even used city material to fill in some very large holes just to cover it up. There's one resident that built a brand new house back there, and all the construction equipment that came in there really tore up that road. If Stephanie Court residents would be willing to pave that or something so that we do not continue with our heavy equipment on there and possibly tear up what's there. I mean, I'm willing to compromise here, but where we've asked those residents on Stephanie Court, those 3 homes back there, to place their garbage there is very, very feasible. and we're willing to compromise on Elizabeth Lane. But going into Stephanie Court, it is really bad. I can't,
I believe there was
So,
someone who,
yeah.
did somebody like pave their, like, I know the whole thing is a driveway, but you get to the part that looks like, was there some paving done? I thought there was something that was done at the end that made it hard to turn the truck
Yeah, the
around.
one new construction, the brand-new home back there did pave out their entire driveway and apron into that area that we usually turn around, and it's by them going up to their property line with their apron, it really closed off that barrier to turn around. So when we went back there, we pulled up on the driveway, that resident really was upset that we pulled up onto their front apron. So we said, look, we can't be doing this because that brand-new driveway, you crack it, the city's liable, and it's not feasible for us to try and get down there. So I've asked those residents to compromise to that one section at the end of Elizabeth Lane. So that is where we're at
So
right now.
I'm just confused. Are we here to solve that issue, or are we here to talk about a sidewalk and curb waiver refund?
It makes sense to me that the sidewalk and curve waiver is what we're about. So I think that getting the garbage part figured out is really between the department, the resident, happy to help with that. I guess to me, it makes sense that if something's not a legal road, and really that's the issue, is it's not a legal existing road. We actually have pockets like this all over the city, and that's not just a Portage problem, that's everywhere. Hobart's got this issue, Gary's got the issue, Lake Station's got the issue. I mean, every city's got spots where it looks like a road, but it either wasn't built to standards, or it was built by a resident, it was built as a private driveway. And I think to Randy's point, we got to be really careful about going up the private driveway. But if you or a previous homeowner, what sounds like you paid the sidewalk waiver when it wasn't necessary?
Yeah, that was back 20 years ago, literally, when I built. So when I moved in, it was literally a gravel road. I did literally pave the entire road at that time. And he's correct, since the new construction has been brought in there, he's done some damage to the road. And quite honestly, is what it is, he believes I'm sure he came to you and asked you guys to repair the road, because that's how he is. But so let me ask you this: if I repave the road, can you then come down the road? Because here's the issue now too: if you're not going to plow it either, so now I have to drag the garbage down this road in the winter. And also, what's confusing to me is 2 weeks ago, my other neighbor on the road, he had some larger items that were out of spec for the trash cans that he put in front of his house, which you guys did come down and pick up. So again, you're choosing when to come down and when not to come down.
Okay.
Well, I think that, to Andy's point, other issues about getting things figured out, because I know I've met at least one of your neighbors who, I don't want to,
Well, there's only 3 of us. So.
yeah, well, I know, I'm not trying to narrow it down.
And I know which one you probably met.
Maybe the friendliest, or equally friendly to you. You're not, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
But I'll just say that I know I offered him at one point, I said, if you need, I can drive up and I specifically said not bulk, but I was like, if you need me to just come and move the trash can for you, I'm happy to do that if you guys do it every Wednesday night. I can't do that forever, but I offered that to him, and if you can guess which neighbor I'm talking about,
Yeah.
But all that said and done, I think the street issue is something I'm happy to talk with you about. If you talk to my chief of staff, Leanne Van Kuren, she's in the back, that's all interesting stuff, but I think for right now, what's on the agenda is the curb waiver, which if you paid it and it's not a legal road, Ken, I'm not sure precedent-wise, rules, like, was that a mistake if we had somebody pay a waiver on something that wasn't a legal road? Or does the sidewalk waiver, am I misunderstanding it?
Yeah, because I could not get my permit to move in until I paid it. And now the new construction, he got waived for it, so he didn't have to pay for it.
I'm guessing what happened is 20, some years ago, when you were building your house, they probably just said, oh, if you don't want to pay for the sidewalk, you need the waiver. But if someone did a little more digging 20 years ago, they would have picked up on it not being a legal road. I mean, so it just makes sense to me that that should be refunded for for something that you shouldn't have been required to do, I'm happy to talk to you about the other matters if we can get that scheduled.
So I guess then the other question is then, can I cancel my trash service within the city of Portage and pick my own service? Because that's how it came up originally. Because, I mean, I feel if I'm paying the same amount as everybody else, I should be picked up at my house versus down the street. If I can't, I want to get a different service, but people are telling me I can't cancel my trash service.
Randy, if he's on a private street, is he obligated, like the way other people are obligated?
No, he could seek out his own, but I just want to make it for known that sometimes private companies will not go down your driveway, so they'll service you at the next road service. So just be aware of that when you do seek out.
Yeah.
But you're free to shop for that as
Yeah.
a private road.
Yeah. Well, my other
person.
neighbor's not even paying for any service whatsoever. He's been there for over 6 months, and he's not even paying for any service. So it's really sort of a mess back there.
Again, happy to work on the bigger issues with, where you live, but on the curb matter, it just sounds to me like this was a mistake 20 years ago, having it, paid for. Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the appeal and refund for the curb and sidewalk for 2719 Stephanie Court.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That gets us to the Ready to Live event. Oh, Mr. Cherry, you're coming up for this one.
Yes, sir.
I didn't realize you were promoting concerts now. I'm just kidding.
I'm saving those two from having to come up here. So September 20th of 2025, there's a Ready to Live concert at the amphitheater or Founders Square. Standard road closures on either side of the pavilion, but we are extending it past that first. This one's going to be a little bit bigger, so the closure is going to be just past the access road just north of AutoZone. So I apologize, I didn't make copies of this, but this is typically, and we just met with fire and police and Ready to Live, and everything's been discussed and approved, the plan. So just looking for approval for this concert. And it's Wiz Khalifa, by the way. So. Sure.
I'll make a motion to approve the Ready to Live event at Founders Square, September 20th.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That gets us to the companion animal ordinance. We don't have that we don't have an animal up for consideration right now. But I wanted to make sure that this was shared with you guys because there has been a change in the city code that was passed at the last city council meeting. What this ordinance does, it allows the Board of Works to be able to hear petitions for someone who someone who wishes to have a pet of a species that is currently considered livestock in our ordinance. It's really important to understand that in Portage we have a ban on livestock in the city for purposes of breeding, for a commercial purpose, or any agricultural purpose. But increasingly there are people who are keeping or wanting to keep as pets things like pigs, goats, sometimes those little horses. Depending on the circumstance, that can be very case by case whether or not something is appropriate. And so rather than trying to create, I think smartly, rather than trying to create a bunch of different regulations on when it's okay and when it's not, the council has given this ability to the Board of Works to consider such petitions. One of the key things about this is that this is a public hearing. Under normal circumstances, I think a public hearing is, of course, where you open it up for, anybody to come and give their opinion on it. I would think that the Board of Works, just as we've created policies on things, I just wanted to have the time here to discuss if there's any other policies or considerations we want to talk about how we go with this. One of my main things is I'd like to see an expectation that we treat this as something where the neighbors are informed, and I think our planning department is prepared to assist with that. I know the clerk treasurer's office, for example, is great with working with us when someone wants a solicitor's permit, which I don't believe we've given in going on 2 years. But at the same time, I just thought that that would be good for discussion here if there were any other procedural thoughts about how we might want to consider within the scope of this ordinance.
That was my first thought. So if we're doing this as a public hearing when they come in, shouldn't there be a requirement that the adjoining property owners are notified of that hearing? So they have an opportunity to either express their concerns or not? I mean, that would certainly help us in making that decision.
So I think it's kind of like how, now what's interesting about this ordinance is that, and I could go back and read through them all, you look at the different things in the city that people are generally not allowed to do, but that you're allowed to go to the Board of Works for. Sometimes the ordinance is pretty simple. It's, this is not allowed, you can get a permit to go to the Board of Works, and then we can kind of create our own expectations. So for example, if, say for a solicitor's permit, we wanted like references from somebody. Well, we could ask for that at the meeting, but then someone might say, man, I wish I knew that you wanted this ahead of time. And so like that would become something that become like part of our procedures, you know? What's interesting about this ordinance is one, it has criteria that we are supposed to consider. There's like 5 listed criteria for us to go through when we're considering something. And one of those is the impact on the homeowners and the neighbors. So I wondered if it was something where, I don't know if we have to vote on it or if that could just be explained that if we, assuming it's the view of the board, that we would want to have neighbors notified before somebody was considered by us. But I would wonder,
So would it, so would it then, but should it not be a public hearing then? Because then, doesn't a public hearing require
that was, I think,
that notification and publication of the hearing so the public knows about it? I mean, wouldn't you have to advertise the public hearing?
Well, the open door law, as far as advertising for a public hearing is all you need to do unless a statute or an ordinance says you have to do additional notice.
so if we wanted to have it that, basically if we were, I was thinking along the lines of like a zoning change or like a BZA type change, like I'd feel really comfortable if there was notification to, I think what we call adjoining property owners. If we wanted that, would it be best to have that, I think you're saying that should be a written policy of the board that we like adopt? I think if you could, I think then that would be good, is then we could adopt that at the following meeting. Ted, are you signaling me, or was there anything? Oh, sorry, the way you moved your head, I was like, I almost wondered if that was like, oh, you got your glasses. I was like, wait, what am I forgetting? No. I think that that'd be good, but I also wanted to make sure, my main thought was the neighbor notification, but for you guys, was there any other things that you guys thought would want in a written policy within the scope of this ordinance? I know I'm pretty comfortable as long as the neighbors get notification beforehand.
Yeah, I just think that's the only part to me. I mean, I think
And I
for
think-
us to make that decision, we kind of got to need to know what the neighbors think about it.
It would be, yeah. Oh, Tom?
Staff would probably recommend making it certified letters. We can generate those.
So I think what we'll do then is if we could have that prepared, we can pass that at our next Board of Works meeting. And then that way, I think then we can formally start taking in applications for people who, and again, I can't stress this, I know there are some people who, since that news, they found out that they've got an animal and they're like, wait, we weren't allowed to have that? But I think that as people apply, I think it's good for us to have this set so that people are following that procedure. That would be the case, yeah.
I think that they should be required to do the notices. That's what happens in a BZA rezone or variance situation.
I feel like this should be at least as, I don't want to make anything needlessly difficult, but I think so much as like when you're doing something as serious as taking care of an animal, I think we should treat it at least as seriously as we do wanting an 8-foot fence. Do we need to vote to ask you to do that, or it's okay?
Vote on the policy that's presented.
Thank you so much, Ken. And then that'll get us to the Portage High School event. It's all good, Chief? Yeah. Okay, cool. Any other questions? And if not, is there a motion?
Same as every year, we're fine with it, we're gonna assist and shouldn't be any major issue.
I'll make a motion to approve the special event request for Portage High School Student Council for their homecoming parade.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That gets us to Sarah Valdez Ayers' appeal. If you'd like to come up and just say a little bit. If you'd like to just come up and just introduce yourself and just explain what you need.
Sure. So my property is 5683 Cropwalk Avenue, and 4 years ago, before I started my
Oh, and I'm so sorry, could you speak into the microphone? No, you're fine. Oh, absolutely. No, we're all getting used to it. I call it the C-SPAN. Indiana law, we've had these meetings on film forever, but Indiana law now requires that we live stream these, so
Gotcha.
we're trying to make sure everybody, I don't know, follows the microphone. And
sorry.
yours is good. You
Have
don't have
it.
a button to push, so go ahead, sorry.
Have it. So my property is 5683 Cropwalk Avenue, and about 4 years ago, I decided to convert my front yard to incorporate more native plants and flowers. And when I reviewed the city code, I also called the city to ensure that I understood the code correctly and that I would be in compliance. I was told, make sure that any plants I plant don't encroach on the sidewalk, because we don't want that. Any sort of vegetables, definitely not, because that gets messy. And to make sure any regular grass is cut under 6 inches, weeds as well. And so I started developing portions of my front yard to native plants. And this year I decided to overhaul even more of it during the summer. And Carla, she actually could show you pictures of the before, in between, and the after. And it seems to be a massive miscommunication with folks in the neighborhood that they didn't know what I was doing, even though I was working on my yard. And I also have packets included for you. So this is from the president of Wild Ones from the Dixon chapter. In regards to the native plants that I'm planting in my front yard, and I also included a schematic of all the plants I'm planting in each section, so you're well aware of the plants that I'm including. And so there were a couple of issues that came up with code enforcement. There were a couple of issues when code enforcement came that they deemed one of my plants as weeds, and I consult nurseries and organizations prior to planting anything, and it is one of the more aggressive native plants in Indiana, and I understand that they looked on the internet to identify what the plant was, and they said, well, it was identified as a weed. But I also have a listing of 2 nurseries and also 2 organizations that can substantiate what I'm saying. And if we base everything off of the internet, if I look up my medical issues, I have 3 different cancers and a tumor coming out of my uterus, if I believed everything the internet said. So I take it with a grain of salt, but that's why I rely on experts to guide me and advise me. This one is suitable, this one isn't. And it also includes correspondences from, let me see, Stantec Nursery, when I picked up my last order in August. And that was the final order that I was picking up, and those had to be planted. But the next day was when we had our 5-inch torrential downpour. So a lot of several of the plants actually died from that. But so long story short, we're here today because I wanted to remove the dandelions from my yard and plant more native flowers and plants. And since it seems to be an issue of taking up more of that property space, I did look at the code Leanne provided me, and it doesn't state anything that I need approval prior to doing landscaping in my yard. So that's why I would like to discuss today, to collaborate with the city, so there's no misunderstanding, and so resources are not being used because people have a misinterpretation of what my plants are, because they are not common, because people are used to seeing the European and Asian plants that are in people's yards. And so when you see something a little different, just because it's not visually appealing does not make it a weed. So that's all I have to say on the matter.
So I will say one of my favorite quotes, I got to write that down, is just because something is not visually appealing doesn't make it a weed. I'm going to remember that, because that's actually a really good term. Carla, would you mind coming up, or were you yeah. I want to make sure that we bring code enforcement in, because I believe there's a bit of a, I don't know if history is the right word, but I know that this came up at some point, and you mentioned Leanne, so I appreciate Leanne's work too.
I dropped these off with you guys.
Sure thing. So it sounds like people, is it fair to say that like a neighbor or somebody, I don't know who it was, somebody called code enforcement on you at some point, and that's how you met Carla?
Correct. This is the first time code enforcement has ever been called on me. Like I said, I've been gradually converting everything, and this year was to overhaul my gardens, so it's more user-friendly, because I actually had a handicap last year, and I couldn't bend down to really work in my gardens, so learning experience, in case that happens again, I can actually hire someone to go in there. Things are going to be clearly defined, identified, so then I don't have to worry, oh, they're going to pull out the wrong thing. But that was the whole point of doing that and overhauling, relocating several plants as well.
So I mean, I would say, Carla, looking at how it is now, you can actually see it was, it almost looks like it was, well, I think it was a work in progress, and maybe there was a picture taken at one point in that progress. Is that fair to say?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we did get a complaint, though. Like, it wasn't me just driving by. It was, we received a complaint. The lady came into the police department because she was concerned, thought that somebody needed a wellness check at that house, because she said it looked completely overgrown and abandoned, or somebody abandoned the house. So when I got there, the front door was open. She was home, actually, so I was like, okay, you know, somebody's there. I could hear something going on in there. I did knock on the door. It took her a little while to get to the door, but in the meantime, I was posting it as a vegetation violation, so.
And I just appreciate that, because like I say, it even sounds like the person who called wasn't like just mad about the grass, you know, not being what they think of as grass. There was actually, I don't know, it's always neat when people see the human side of what goes into code enforcement, you
Yeah.
know? So is there any action we actually have to take? Because I don't get the impression, I think it's been cleared up, unless you've been like fined or something, but
No. Nope. No, it
I
hadn't got
just-
to the point.
you
I
just kind of
think it
wanted to
was
get
just
this on
mainly
record, or, yeah?
trying to keep it under control, like, we need to, what was there before, like, I know there's some kind of plant or something, but it just
Aster.
looked overgrown, like, it looked like weeds is all. And I just think
The after pictures show there's not more well-defined beds and
there are now.
plantings, so it's.
Yep, definitely.
Well, we appreciate you coming in, and I think you're all good, yeah.
Okay, so is there any sort of collaboration I can do with the city, so someone just passing by doesn't deem something else as a weed and then wastes her time to come over to my house? Hey, Sarah, can you identify this for me?
So I think that would probably be a discussion with somebody. I just don't know exactly who, because that almost sounds more just like informational, like letting people know. I mean, that would be something, maybe, Leanne, we can make a note to maybe talk to Norma, you know, even who's our public relations person. Maybe we could do like a post online or just some activities to show, or it might be a park department thing, just, maybe just to show like what plants are city plants. I don't know. Basically, it's kind of a how to make sure people know that this sort of stuff is okay.
It's been a huge improvement in 2 weeks, and that's what it was, actually less than 2 weeks since we talked to you. I mean, you made big strides in cleaning it up. When the initial pictures, they were pretty rough. I mean, when we were there, it was pretty rough. You have to agree with that. I mean, and I do agree, it was a long, hot summer, and it was tough to get out there. But, you know, neighbors, you know, deserve not to, for a house to look abandoned. So I guess that's part of our,
Yeah, well, and I think that that part is, I mean, it's like you say, there are situations where people fall, you know, behind, or in your case, you had like a handicap, or you had a situation, you know. Even I have been at a point in my life where I realized, holy cow, I need to mow my grass, you know, not while I was mayor. Once you become mayor, you got to have your grass mowed consistently, but I always thought, man, like, I wonder, like, you know, if I ended up with a code enforcement violation, would that, like, hurt me in an election, you know? Would they be like, how would that all go? So I think that what you're here for is really more asking, what could we do to, assuming everything's being well taken care of, educate people. I think what's tough is the way it currently is, I don't think you'd ever have like a problem with that. So it's almost more like, I think it's more informational just in the course of the year. I don't know, we try to get information out there about like, you know, what kind of things you can plant, what kind of things look nice. I don't know if you know, I have something of like a Facebook presence. I could even just like walk by your house one day and say, man, what a cool like thing of like flowers over here, you know?
Well, because a lot of the plants are still babies, as I noted in the listing, that it takes around, for native plants, around 2 to 3 years for them to even fully mature and blossom. I have one that's 2 years old and it refuses to blossom, so maybe better luck next year. But I would like to make a comment as far as the wellness thing, that I was constantly out there checking on my monarch caterpillars and also preparing the yard for that last batch of plants. So I have to maintain the grass, so I was outside working on it. It's maybe just not, I was doing it at my own pace because it was a little high, and I understand that, you know, passing by first impressions, that looks the worst. And
But you weren't mowing the front yard at all.
correct,
The end of
because
August.
of erosion, and that wound up biting me in the butt. That after the torrential downpour, I pulled out too much, and it wound up killing several of my plants. But the intention was that the rest of those plants, as soon as I was ready, that they were going to get pulled up, torn out, which is what you see here today.
I think simply put, yeah. I mean, I would say keep up the good work, and I'd be excited to see how it grows and how it goes. And I think if anything, as it keeps looking nice and as more, you know, good things happen, I think that maybe you'll start to see neighbors wanting to do that too, or maybe we just highlight people doing the kind of work you're doing around the city. But yeah, I don't know if there's something that this board can really like vote on. I think it's more just something to think about, and we're happy to reach out to talk to you about it. But
Yep.
definitely thank you for explaining the situation.
Okay, and you're always welcome to walk by and observe more progress and as things grow too. So, all right.
Thank you. So that gets us to Zips Liquor Center. Man, we're like running the entire like this is kind of one of the, all we're missing is like a fireworks petition, and wait, are you guys doing fireworks at the Wiz? Oh. Anyway, we'll hear from Zips.
Good morning. My name is James Huss. I'm with DVG Team here on behalf of the petitioner today. The property we're talking about today is 6220 Melton Road. It's the northwest corner of US 20 and Chrisman Road. A project to improve this property, a complete tear down to replace the liquor store with a convenience store and a small gas station, was approved by the city's Plan Commission on September 3rd, pending a couple contingencies. One of those contingencies was codifying a fee in lieu of installation of sidewalk across the property. Our contention during Plan Commission was that on the north side of US 20, there is not sidewalk for over a mile in either direction. Furthermore, the intersection of 20 and Chrisman Road is not really set up for safe pedestrian crossing, given the kind of the yield style of right turn lanes. We discussed that with city staff. They did still state that there would be a fee involved in that waiver request, so we're here requesting to go the fee in lieu of installation route, and the city has assigned a cost of that fee to be $8,747.25. That was provided by city staff. So hopefully just looking to get that approved so that the petitioner can remit the fee in the next 30 days per the city's requirement.
Does staff recommend the sidewalk waiver as well? I'll make a motion to approve the Zip Liquor Center Incorporated sidewalk waiver.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That gets us to the fire department donation. Yeah, we were all, darn it, we all wanted to just. All right, Chief, you want to come up and ask for something crazy and we'll say no to it just for the fun of it, or no? Okay. Ask for like a big elephant or something, like to be the mascot for the fire department or something. Don't ask for something you really need. I don't want that to be awkward. Let's make it fun. What? All right, well, that gets us to the bulk item appeals. First one is 6945 Superior. If you don't mind, we're going to let Randy speak, and then you're going to go up right after. Oh, you're good to stay there, though. It's good to see you.
From time to time, we have brand-new families that move to the Portage community, and they purchase a home. This was an already existing home. It wasn't new construction type deal. So in that exchange from old homeowner to new homeowner, sometimes that new homeowner does not adequately search, services out that we provide to our community. So in this situation, she was using her own private garbage can along with her City of Portage totes, and she was, using them to discard of her trash. And those were pictures taken on her non-amnesty day, and a $40 charge was implemented to each one of those incidents, which totaled $160, and the resident is now appealing that. So I'm going to give it over to her.
Hello.
Good morning. My name is Carrie McCool. I am that resident. So I am hoping that I can appeal the bulk pickup fee that I was being charged as a new resident. I wasn't clear on the expectations of using my own private trash can. And Randy did a really good job of summarizing exactly what I would have said, so.
Randy, what is your recommendation?
My recommendation, underneath these circumstances, and I asked the board to possibly waive these fees. And then going forward, the resident is under complete understanding with our services, and not only these services, but other services that I encourage them to research and make sure that everything is done right. So.
I'll make a motion to approve the appeal for 6945 Superior.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much.
I wonder if it would be worth considering or trying to figure out if there was some kind of a packet or something we sent to new residents that move in. I mean, we got a lot of them, new subdivisions, that maybe spell out all of our different services and kind of like a little welcome package or something that says, here's all these type of things, or are we doing something like that?
I'm
or
glad
could
you
we?
asked that. Yes, we do. So for new construction, with our new residents that are being established in those new areas, we do have a complete move-in packet, welcome them to the community. All the services that we provide through the street and sanitation comes along with those new totes. So those are communicated well. And also the clerk's office makes very well known to new residents coming to town that these services are provided, and here's the guidelines. Please do this, don't do that, stuff like that. So
I wonder if how would we could do something like that for anyone who's buying a home, whether it's a new home or it's an older home that someone new is moving into. I don't know how we get that information, but maybe there's something.
Michelle, would it
'cause
be?
they should
Oh,
probably know
looks
too.
like we have a volunteer. Much as I wanted Michelle's opinion, I'll still ask you for it, but I'll let the guy from the audience come up.
When we moved into a new house, the realtor gave us that packet.
You haven't, I was gonna say, most people come through the clerk's office, yeah? We need to have like an open house, like once or twice a year for like new residents, Now watch, like nobody will come, but maybe we'll at least get like a cake or something.
Or maybe the mayor just goes and knocks at all those doors when they
Oh,
first move in
yeah,
and
that would be
introduces
handy,
himself.
right? Yeah. I could. That'll get us to 1945 Boardwalk. Is there anyone here for 1945 Boardwalk? All right, well, Randy, can you explain 1945 for us?
So this is an issue, or this is a situation where the old homeowner cleaned out their house, put it to the curb, and the new homeowner came in, and we do have documentation that we obtained proving that when the exchange of the property happened. So this charge actually happened right before that exchange to the new residents. So this is actually, the new resident obtained, or they encumbered this $100 bulk item charge. So I'm asking the board in this type of situation here to reverse this.
I'll make a motion to waive the $100 fee for 1945 Boardwalk.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If Randy, if you could stay a second, because now I'm the guy with the question. This doesn't happen, it doesn't seem like this happens all the time, but like, it seems to happen enough that like I'm thinking about it, like, is there anything we can do? Have you ever thought about like, it's really not fair to the city that somebody can sell their house, leave a bunch of junk outside the house, we pick it up, and then they're gone, and now we don't have an enforcement mechanism to make them pay for. I get why we don't want to charge it on the new homeowner. I mean, I get that that's not fair to them, but do we have any, I don't even know like where we would start. It just seems, and I'm not even claiming every person who has sold their home and moved is like thinking about it that way. But something just doesn't seem fair that if you've sold your house, you can leave a big cleanup for the sanitation department to take care of and you get off scot-free. This was only $100, but I mean, I'm concerned about the $700, giant leave-out situation, Are we able to pursue that, or what would be our? We send them a bill and then yeah.
That's if they leave a forwarding address with the clerk's office, which.
Do most, or?
Very seldom.
If they get billed for the next month, because we don't know, eventually, depending upon the post office, and they put in a forward, we'll get it back to the sticker that gives us the new address. But if they don't want to pay it, we have nothing we can do then, because we can't lien the property because they no longer own it.
And again, trusting that maybe not everyone's doing it like maliciously. Like somebody who gets it might say, oh yeah, we need to pay that because we left that stuff out. Like I say, it doesn't happen all the time, but we've had a couple of these appeals now in the last year that it makes me think about it, True, and that's the thing too, maybe it's like if it's the $700, $800, leave behinds. Well, thank you, Randy. Like I say, we can keep thinking about that or chewing on that, but thanks. And that gets us to the claims, and I think we have multiple claims today. So do we have some motions? You can say the date.
Okay. I would make a motion to approve the July 25th payroll for $2,689,074.37.
Second?
So we have a motion, and we have a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. I'll make a motion to approve the August 8th payroll for $2,912,074.90.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. I'd like to make a motion to approve the August 22nd payroll for $2,030,532.38.
I'll second.
So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other business to be brought before the board? Randy?
One other piece of business, I'm seeking the board's permission for a city auction to get rid of titled equipment and other miscellaneous items that departments throughout the city no longer need. That auction date is scheduled for September 20th.
Make a motion to approve the street department's city auction.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, well, those regular claims are. You caught us, Michelle. We were trying to skedaddle out of here without.
Make a motion to approve the claims in the amount of $858,447.05.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then I think I've got just one more thing. Might just be something for next meeting's minutes correction, but if we can catch it now, just notice that this agenda says August 26, 2025. I mean, that's the agenda, not really the, I don't know if there's any, I don't know if there's like a correction we need, but yeah, it's really not the biggest deal in the world. I caught it at the end. I'm like, huh. All right, anything else? Or do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.